Hi, this is David, and I wanted to talk to you about checks and how you can use them as validation rules and metrics for your evaluation dataset. As you can see here within this specific evaluation dataset, we have assigned 10 different metrics across all of the testing scenarios. We can get an overview of which of them failed or passed, and we can then go into specific examples to see how and why they failed or passed. So what you see here is a user prompt and then a response that your chatbot has given. Along with that, there's some metadata, and within this metadata, you can pass some information that might be relevant for evaluating the performance of your agent. In this case, we've passed some information about the tool call to be able to test whether your agents are actually using the right tools. In this case, it's the tool name query engine, and it received some information from that query. On the right-hand side, you can see all of the metrics that we've assigned to this test case and whether they failed or passed and why they failed or passed, so that you actually understand whether these metrics are evaluating the right thing and whether they are evaluating the right thing correctly. Some of these checks are built in, but some of them actually need to be set up manually. And you can do that by going to the left-hand side and into the checks tab. So in this checks tab, you can get an overview of existing checks that are within your project and can be shared by your entire team. But you can also go into defining a new check. For example, here, define a new check new. You can provide a description so that everyone knows what the reasoning behind this check is. And then you have different kind of checks where the correctness and the groundedness check ensure that your model doesn't hallucinate and require some reference context or reference output. The conformity check really focuses on rules or criteria that your model needs to listen to. And there's specific string matching tests that you can apply to ensure that a word or a sentence is present. You can do the metadata check to validate certain JSON paths are present within your LLM response. And lastly, there's the semantic similarity check that you can use for making sure that each one of your agents is answering in a similar way. To get a full overview of each one of the checks, I recommend going to the documentation to Hub, UI, then evaluation tests and assign validation rules and assigning checks to tests. And here you get an overview with some explanation and nuance for each one of these checks and also how to set up a custom check. Additionally, as a SDK user, what you can do is also set up custom checks by passing an identifier, a name, and a description, and some parameters that slightly differ for each one of these checks. For the correctness check, what you need to do is provide a reference. For the groundedness check, you also need to provide some context. Then for the string matching check, you need to define a regex string, and so forth and so forth. When you have these checks, what you can do is add them to your specific chat test cases. When you have a chat test case and create it, you can update also the check definitions, where you can see here that we've added 1, 2, 3, 4 different checks. And some of the checks are already present and some of these checks are custom defined. So in this case, there's this existing check that we want to use. And we also combine with some built-in checks with custom definitions.